And for the last time tonight, I shall welcome you all back to this live stream of the Elite Series 2nd Division here at Rift Entertainment. And of course, I am still accompanied by Freshtana. Welcome back, Freshtana.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me be here. And it's nice to have our last game of the day because we saw 3 amazing games. So make it a 4th one with, of course, a Dynasty playing against NXT. Yeah, you can see per the next Once Upon a Team 1-0, Aurora against Full Clear 1-0, Rifts lost against Yawning Gang 1-0. So if the pattern continues, Dynasty would win.
Yes, true. Because the blue side clearly always wins here. So, I mean, it's pretty much a no-brainer at this point. But yeah, no, of course, in League of Legends, it's not the side that decides the game. I sure hope so, but it's the skill of the team. And you said it, I mean, Dynasty versus Next Dynasty, a team we know pretty well. They've been here for the summer split, for the spring split, sorry, as well. We are in the summer split, still here and going strong. One of the teams which was able to compete really well against Riftslovs and the other top teams of the spring split. Against Next, one of the newcomers, which came from the amateur circuit. I haven't seen them play yet, once again. But then I'll refer the question to you, Freshtana. What is your take on that team?
Yeah, I think they played pretty solid League of Legends against Once Upon a Team yesterday. So and I think that there was not like the craziest stuff I never saw, but I believe that at least Ninja Tiger of the top lane had pretty decent showing, and yeah, it was just a good clean game against Once Upon a Team there. So that's definitely makes me wonder if a team like that, who wins pretty solidly against Once Upon a Team, wins today against Dynasty, because Dynasty had like the really awkward moment to lose against Full Clear with their pretty sick Kog'Maw Wombo combo protect the Kog'Maw comp. And I think Dynasty wouldn't have lost against the normal comp, for example. So now having then 1-0 means that they need to show us how they can bounce back. And I think that an opponent like Next is definitely like a good opponent for them, because it's maybe not the strongest team. And for Dynasty, who I count as like 2nd or maybe 3rd best team in the league, they should definitely bounce back today. And I think I hold a lot about Dynasty, so Next can definitely surprise me today.
Yeah, I mean, I think both teams, from an external glance, because I have not seen them compete yet in the split, they seem to be more or less tied, at least in terms of individual players, in terms of their ELO. So I think we have 2 of the closest team in terms of skill level. We should be able to see a very interesting game coming from them in that regard. On sides of Dynasty, we have a few players we know already pretty well. I think Frankie, Dark UniQ, we've already seen plenty of them. And the last split, but they also had a few changes, one of which you know really well, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe just Frankie and Dark Unique stayed. And then they got just Crab Lord, who came actually through the amateur circuit. And then Umelu from the German League, from Prime League, a good friend of mine, I know him. And then of course Hazagi on the top lane, so just 3 more people. And I think especially on top lane, last split with Squarepants, now with Hazagi, they did a little like upgrade there. And so quite exciting to see what they can do with that. And of course Next, just as an info, came through the amateur circuit and got required by the Dutch community team. So it's one of the newcomers and former Dutch community team, basically. But I think the staff behind it it's still the same or something. Anyway, we are here now in the Champ Select for our last and final game of today. And already some spicy bands with Olaf and
Yeah.
Kha'Zix, but then some classic ones with Domino and maybe the Seri now as well from one of those sides. But of course, Dynasty could let her open, so next basically needs to ban her. Otherwise, there could be a Seri first pick, for example, and we already know that Dark Unique, at least in last split, he played a lot of Seri in the league, so definitely
Indeed.
a champion he knows very well.
And I don't think it's in Dynasty's interest of banning it. Yeah, so leave it up to Next, and they could be first picking it here. And then we'll be going on. Oh, they do take a Jace, which we've seen last game, which is a champion also played by Frankie, notably.
Yeah. One of his most played champions, so definitely good pickup, and still with Hazagi on the top lane. Some sort of a flex pick at least, even though Jace mid lane at the moment is the standard, but we will see how they will do it. And now we have the Jinx coming for the side of Next. Most of the times being placed just maybe with a Lulu, with a Thresh, something like that. We saw it in the last game, of course, with Nautilus, but you don't want to show like the support too early just to don't get counterpicked. So they maybe decide just for a good old blind jungler, and of course you couldn't just pick a top lane or a mid lane pick because Jace is still flexible, so he could end up on a different lane, and that's why they pick up a jungler for Exidara.
It's absolutely a good choice here, especially Vi usually is able to handle a slew of enemies, and yeah, Dynasty goes for the Xayah Rakan bot lane very confidently here. And now Next can pick a support without too many issues. We see the same bot lane we saw last game from the ESLOL, the Nautilus with the Jinx. We saw it's pretty solid with an aggressiveness of the Nautilus being able to pull the best out of a Jinx.
Yeah, and it's definitely a great pickup. Xayah Rakan can definitely hold their own against such a engage. So neither Nautilus nor Y can really engage Dark Unique Q in team fights because he always just jumps into the air, of course, and has Crab Lord on his side to peel him. But now we see some top lane bans coming out, so Hazagi loses his Fiora. On the flip side, we see some tank bans, and like the Malphite ban makes sense because right now we have this classic engage comp who tries to get those resets for the Jinx, so the Malphite would have fit right into this team comp, so just banning it away is definitely a good idea. And maybe we even see the Cyan ban coming out as well, because he would fit into this team comp as well, just an engage tank. So maybe a ban like that would be good. But no, they ban out the Singe. Oh man.
I was gonna say, just a side note, the color palette right now for Dynasty's picks looks really good. It's so assorted. True. Goddamn, I did not expect that. True. Same shades and all. But yeah, small side step there. We do pick up a Ziggs for Next, most probably on the mid lane there.
Yep.
Leaving their last pick to the top.
And I like the Ziggs just because he definitely offers some follow-up onto the Jinx and onto the Y. Or the Jinx and the Ziggs can always follow onto the Y ult. So definitely going for those resets. And even Ziggs can definitely work against the Chase. If I believe correctly, we even saw this matchup last Wednesday, but who knows, maybe I'm not correct with that. Kragas now being picked with Jake, so it's definitely Jace mid lane, Jake's top lane, Kragas jungle. That the Kragas was open for the whole time, it's kind of surprising. Normally Kragas is a huge pick for teams as first pick, for example, but he just came through all the way, and the Cho'Gath just makes this team comp perfectly because you can also follow up on the Y, also follow up on the Nautilus hooks with the Rapture. So yeah, that's a really, really strong team fight comp. You go for one target, you get the reset, especially like with Cho'Gath ult, you can just eat someone and then there's a reset for Jinx and stuff. So
Yeah.
I quite like the team comp of Next. Meantime, Dynasty, maybe a little bit more classic, you could say, but especially like Chase, and that's something when we saw like the Milio in this one game, it's just not fitting perfectly with the whole team comp, right? Like Chase is this poke champion, but you don't have a poke comp, and you have more like a split push comp of Jax, but also team fight. And so you have basically something from everything, and that's why I might even like the team comp of Next a little bit more.
Well, I think Dynasty seems to go with full flexibility. I mean, they had a few flex picks that they did keep, like kind of hold onto for a long time. They can't play on which lane is stronger in the end. They have this flexibility. Do not forget, however, Hazaki, one of his most played champions, is Jax as well. So that's really good for him at least. And should be able to hold his own then against Cho'Gath. But I do have to agree, what Next is going for them is really nice. We saw Jinx, Nautilus last game, still a pretty solid combination, and their team fight, and especially their pushing power is completely insane with a Jinx and the Ziggs. Turrets can fall really quick if Dynasty is not paying attention, right?
Yeah.
So that's also something I need to be careful of.
Yeah, and like just a small side note, especially on this Jinx with 6. Like they're in voice comps, and I know it from scrims of my team. Like Jinx player usually call something like, "This tower will drop soon. I get my passive. We run into them," because as soon as the tower drops, she gets excited, and then she can engage by herself because she has the movement speed. She can just kite and try to go for auto attacks. And people, if they know that, now, okay, tower will drop soon, so we go a little bit further back, or we know, okay, Jinx will maybe step up, so we can maybe predict that. But especially with the 6 boom pad, like the tower just drops really fast and maybe unexpected. And then you have just this 1 second where the tower drops faster than you expected it, and then the Jinx just runs you down. So that could be a small thing to keep an eye on. Those tower sieges with Jinx and 6, which is really, really cool to see sometimes. But besides that, yeah, it's just a really cool team comp in my opinion.
Yeah. And I was gonna add to that. I mean, it's like perfectly chaotic, which befits both characters as well thematically. At that point, they hold the control. At that point, when the turret is in that range where Ziggs can simply finish it off, they hold a lot of power over Dynasty, because they decide when they can just boom go into it and put it like unexpectedly, or maybe just have free pressure because Dynasty is afraid of them doing that kind of stuff. So definitely a strong tool they can use for that in that regard. But, yeah.
And one thing, because I saw it in chat, Hulu normally can't play Wukong, and Wukong Y is kind of like a classic. So I was kind of surprised that we saw the Saya Rakan pick up, and not like, for example, the Wukong, or even later the Wukong. But especially with the Chase idea, you kind of needed this AP source, right? So, and now we have AP jungle with AD top and AD mid. So we have like a kind of good damage split. Because usually you don't want AD jungle, AD mid or something, because then armor is really vulnerable. And with just this AP AD split, mid laners kind of can't itemize against that. So that's the reason why they probably decide against the Wukong in this matchup. Even though it would have been maybe a good pickup, but with the Chase, it's kind of harder to execute, basically.
Yeah. do agree with that. But we'll have to see how it fares once the game starts. I think in any case we'll have one banger game ahead of us to finish off this evening, as I believe both teams should be more or less equally skilled. And we have two great teams going up against each other. Dynasty, whom we know really well, next newcomer kind of. And I can't wait to see how they fare in this game as we are headed onto the Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, and there we are in game finally in our fourth game of the day, Dynasty versus Next. And it will be a banger. Dynasty kinda with a rough start in the season, losing the first game, so they want definitely to bounce back and to build up their own dynasty. Sorry, I wanted to say that at least one time per stream, so it's the classic, it's Tana classic, dynasty building their own dynasty. I need to say that every single time.
No way around it. But, oh well. Will they be able to do that? Or will the Dynasty simply go to the next team? See what I did there? Yeah, we have a standard start into this game with no one really trying to do a ballsy move or anything. Standard spread here. Except for Next, who are waiting in that brush expectantly. The first one to get away from that turret and get hooked by chokers.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, Nautilus is strong level 1 if he finds the hook. But Rakan, especially with double shield, can try to fight on his own, and especially like with the W of Sire, they are both really checked, so it's kind of hard to play.
Let's see, we are on the top lane already. Hazagi finding some purchase onto Ninja Tiger, getting some free damage into him.
Yeah, just a little top lane cheese. Usually there are two ways to punish like a leashing top laner. Oh, first of all, we see there's a couple of traits. Two ways to punish a leashing top laner. Oh, the hook.
Yeah, we have the hook connecting with level 2 for Next, but
nothing is happening.
Yeah, nothing happens.
Is that you can either hide in the brush and just cheese him by dealing a little bit of damage to him because it's unexpected and usually the laners can't trade evenly after that. Or the other idea to cheese on top lane is to kinda track the wave a little bit so that you get a slow push to your side so that the enemy maybe misses one creep and you get a slow push so that your jungler can maybe gank you a little bit better. Those are the two cheeses you can try to do, and now we see maybe a bottling gank.
Yeah, Exodara coming in with the Vital Hook does hit. We have the flash to have the knock above the Q. Get some damage on Dark Uni. Q is forced to flash away. That's one flash out in the lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's like two summoners for one, so basically worse for Next. But of course, it's a really important summoner for Xayah because without flash, you can try to always kill her. Meanwhile, Y is a little bit mobile with her Q, so she should be fine without flash, and most of the time she just fights with jungle camp, so she doesn't need her flash. But there's the workaround, and Humulu might get caught at his own red buff.
Oh, we got a catch here on Humulu. Xara is coming in with the smite, also stealing it, but he is able to flee, not get hooked because of his flash though.
Oh, close one. And he kinda just gets scared of his own jungle right now, and of course that was all due to this early aggression coming out from the Next bot lane. Oh, Tiger Ninja gets traded.
Ninja Tiger already looking a bit rough. This is not a good time as a top laner. Humulu getting caught, yes, he was trying to go for some counter jungling, but Exodara was right there. Conrad decides to go in with the flash. Tries to get the kill, but Frankie comes in, kind of dissuades him, putting some damage on the enemy mid laner. Oh, the engage. Nope.
And the hook against the wall.
Yeah.
Really effectively.
That's very nice play that from Crabblord.
Yeah. Yeah, but this early game kinda is spicy with all those jungle skirmishes, but nothing really happens, so both teams kinda miss some of the targets. And then the cooldowns are just too high, so Xidara couldn't really chase to Homelu, and Frankie was just too fast with his face rush and stuff, so just some trading, some farming. And especially in such a slow early game, we could maybe talk about the scaling of both teams. And if I see those two teams, I would say that NXT kind of has the better scaling.
Yeah, I mean, Jinx is always a monster. Cho'Gath also in the late game. I mean, quite literally for Cho'Gath.
Yeah.
They did, but yeah. But I think it's still pretty close. I mean, we have Jax, who also becomes an absolute monster. Xayah is also not too bad off in the late game, so...
Yeah, definitely. Like the split push matchup is in Dynasty's favor,
Yeah.
but especially like Jace against Six, I believe Six scales a little bit better, and like bot lanes, Jinx is just a hyper carry in the late game, while Xayah has not the range to be an effective hyper carry. So that's the reason I would say two carries scale a little bit better, and then you have always like Six who can wave clear against the split pusher, for example. Probably gets dived and then dies, but we could maybe stop him with the wave clear. Anyway, but there's the Drake 4v4.
Yes, this Dynasty is going in. They're getting the lead with Conrad with some poke, has already some damage in. Homelu is starting to get really low. First blood going to next mid laner. Frankie now has to be very careful. Here comes Mega Bomb, and that's some nice damage and a kill going to Conrad as well, as Dynasty is only able to get one kill out of it on the enemy jungler. Meanwhile, next 3 kills and the Drake for them. Played this really well.
And Dynasty just crumbles in this early game. Just loses this little skirmish. In the end, at least getting 1 kill for DYNASTY, but 2 kills for Six. That's so strong because he is like a really strong champion as Six, and when he gets some kills and just gets a lot of items, his poke is incredible. And with that being said, they need to be careful to not let the Six snowball, because otherwise teamfights could be over before they even have started.
Back to some calmer gameplay, but next now definitely the ball is in their court. Have the ways of putting some pressure, especially with Conrad in mid lane having 2 kills already. Should be able to set some pressure on Frankie, and from there on you can start to find ways to pull your AD carry ahead.
And I mean, if you remember the game from ESLOL, there the favorite was behind in the early game a little bit as well. So just giving up some kills in the early game doesn't mean anything, so Dynasty still has every single card in their hand, and maybe even get this Herald if they can't steal it. At least there comes Nautilus.
Yeah, Xidara does look for the engage and is able to find Purchase. That's going to be a kill for the enemy jungler from the side of Dynasty. Next now able to retreat. Was able to pick up a kill and deny the initial picking of that Herald from Dynasty. Now they will have to try and get it before it's too late.
Who got the eye? Who got the Herald?
No one.
So
Dynasty got Herald, but they did not pick up the eye yet.
Oh no. Nobody could get it, oh no. Can Rashid just show us the Herald pit? Is the eye still laying there? Or is it not? Who knows? Oh, okay, we can't see it. Anyway.
Should be a thing on the minimap, to be honest, but...
Yeah, totally. But that's so sad. I mean, they tried to get it, and then they just lost it. Oh no, DYNASTY, if they knew... Okay, no eye anymore. DYNASTY almost got there. If Nautilus would have known, then would have been in a really dire situation, but in the end he survived it. And oh no, they engage. Oh yeah.
Forced to flash away. That's a flash out from that Jinx. This is not good for a Jinx player. So be very careful for the next 5 minutes.
They no trap themselves. Yeah. But with a jungler, I mean, last time it was just a 2-man trap. Now it's a 3-man trap in Dark UniQ. He is insanely close to it.
And Humelu, yeah, and that does find Pidge is forced to use this Death Storm in order to deny some damage, but they're able to do some kind of counter-engage, but it's not in their favor, as already a lot of damage has fallen on Dynasty spot lane when Humelu comes in range.
And kind of the barrel knocked them all away from the feathers. Was a little bit unlucky, yeah. Otherwise they might got a kill on Y or something. But still was good that Humelu was there. Just to save his ADC. And this early game looks really, really good from NXT. I mean, they kinda got both objectives, or at least they denied one of them. Got a lot of kills. So the only thing they are really missing, I don't know, just more kills, I guess. So, or maybe like a first turret with a 6, for example. But besides that, this is kind of a flawless early game right now.
Indeed, and especially now in the mid lane, you can see that Conrad has kind of the upper hand here. Of course, well, being ahead in kills, it does make sense, but he's always able to kind of poke Frankie around and wear him down slowly but surely. Next Drake is going to be up in 10 seconds. Should be next objective for the junglers, and we can see that Humelu is already in that vicinity, so is Exodara. Yeah, expecting him to be that there in the bush, even.
Did you see that? His little green thingy was on the lane and then searched for the next brush to then walk into the brush, but they didn't saw why, but they could have maybe seen the green thingy. Can you see it? I don't know.
Not sure.
Do you not see it as long as you don't see why, or could they have saw this green little hat? And I mean, that would be not game breaking, but a little bit annoying that your pet kinda shows you where you are.
You need to be very, sad. But it's, I mean, it's not like it's like how should I say it? It's still pretty visible, right? To have this little thing in your lane. It's not like a Nico transforming in a minion where you have to count the minions. Yeah, it's like, oh, there's a green thing here. What the hell?
Can I see a stat? No. Deadly not. You cannot interact with it. Yeah, it's not a time. And it's the second Drake now for NXT, and like the whole early game kinda goes to them. I mean, they don't really take a lot of risks. They just go for like those. I mean, they went for this one team fight. Oh no, they get dived.
Oh yeah, we have the tower dive on the bot lane. Strokes is there, but Stuffless is already very low, but so is Krablin. He's gonna fall to the hand of the enemy AD carry, but they are gonna be able to get the kill. Now with Conrad coming in, he is very low on mana. Decides to try and get a wave. Now Humelu in the middle. 2 next players is gonna be able to flee with his dash, however. 1-1.
Just think about it, if he had mana, I mean, they could have gotten some kills there, but he just used the ultimate to clear out the waves. And then it was pretty much over. Now Y defends the mid lane turret. So I really like the rotations right now from NXT. They always just try to keep the tower safety, trade 1-for-1 and stuff. So that's really nice at the moment. That they kinda do the right rotations and know how to play and where to be.
Well, I got shortly disconnected here because I need to update my username, thanks Discord. Yeah. I was gonna say, Herald is gonna spawn soon, and Dynasty, sure enough, is starting to pick up their pace around it, get some vision, putting the pressure on that top lane here. Trying to look to get the damage out on that turret in order to be able to, this time around, get it for real.
That's right, that's right. The big question is, can you contest the second turret? But we already see that the Y is bot side, so that will be the first object that Humulu can secure for his team. And with that, even now it's the second object. I mean, they get the first turret. 4 Jax for Hazagi. That's huge.
Travelot getting caught here. Was to use his ultimate. Oh, careful. Chokes is just around the corner. Might get clunked once again. And with that ultimate is going to fall at the hands of Exidar. Now Kernride coming in from the side along with Ninja Tiger. They're also going to pick up Frankie. Should be also be able to pick up that mid lane turret. Oh, Dark UniQ comes in from the side. Decides to go for the choke skill, but is going to get caught up by Exidaro, who does a lot of damage to the enemy AD carrier and is going to be able to kill him. In the meantime, Hazagi has come down from the top lane and does pick up a kill against Conrad II.
What a messy team fight, I need to say. But oh, Hazagi maybe finding a kill.
Pushing, Ninja Tiger getting really low. Exidar just around the corner decides to not wager it, as Humulu is just around the corner as well. In the meantime, Soflis is able to pick up the first turn on the bot lane though.
Yeah, that's something, but I mean, overall it was a 2-for-2 trade or something. And then they traded 1 turret for 1 turret, but of course first turret for not first turret, essentially. But those 2 kills on Y could be huge, because now she might be strong enough to just one-shot people if she gets this lead. And with that you have always this really strong death, or just getting someone being killed by the Y because she's tanky enough, she's strong enough to survive such a lead with those kills. That could be something. And Hazagi just teleports to the bot lane just to get demolished Brock. I mean, that's a ballsy teleport, to be honest. Not something you usually see in competitive. And he has Hullbreaker. He has just 2 items, and just look at what has Ninja Tiger. He has like the whole shop in his inventory, but not a single real item.
And he no fulfilled item. That is the difference of CSing. I mean, they have a difference of almost 40. In the meantime, Dynasty is able to pick up the first tier turret here on the mid lane with that Herald against the first tier top lane turret picked up by NXT. I mean, no team is giving something for free here. Whenever something is lost, something else is taken. That's what we like to see here at ESLOL second division.
That's true, that's true. And the dragon is up. So both teams, of course, want to play around this little draconic creature. And oh, there's Hazagi. And he's pretty strong, but he has Hullbreaker, so he doesn't really want to team fight, because he missed a lot of stats with Hullbreaker then. But he is still with 2 items, maybe the strongest player in this rift right now.
Rick is now up. NXT is deciding to take the first step into taking it. Dynasty seems to just forsake it and decide to go for the push. This is a very similar situation like we've already seen tonight. No? It was slightly different, but it's kind of more or less the same setting. Oh no, this time around someone is coming to the mid lane to defend it.
Yeah. First of all, there's no Herald. And second of all, you have 6 who can just clear the wave, right? But meantime, Hazagi just got a good turret there, and now tries to execute himself. Oh, the Jinx Rocket doesn't hit, so Hazagi gets executed. So
very nice prediction.
Yeah, and he preserves his shutdown. That's really important as well.
Yeah, I think that was the whole idea behind it. Maybe he could have gotten a few hits on that inhib turret, who knows, just to be cocky, but...
Yeah, but why risk it? And but now, I mean, Soul is on the verge of being taken by NXT. Just 4 more minutes, and they could get Soul. I mean, it's not the most powerful Soul in the world, and you can definitely lose it and not feel too bad, at least. But you shouldn't. So we probably see a team fight around 22-23 minutes. But I think Hazagi could be a huge problem for NXT, because nobody can really hold him on the side lane. I mean, Ninja Tiger can maybe clear the wave, but he can never ever kill him. 6.
Especially with that hull breaker, right?
Yeah. So I mean, they can both can just clear the wave, but that gets especially as AP champion, the hull breaker minion essentially is like the banner minion from few seasons ago. It's pretty buffed against AP damage. So an AP damage carry like Cho'Gath or 6 has huge problems to kill the hull breaker cannon minion. So that could be a bad thing with those two AP laners.
Yeah, and since it's pretty early in the game, Jinx also has not enough power to clear wave efficiently. So currently it's Hazagi's game. I mean, he does whatever he wants, and I mean he does. He just let himself execute earlier. I mean, he just does whatever he wants. It's a fat Jax here.
Yeah, and like we see that Dynasty just needs to play around the Baron because someone needs to defend. And I mean, Cho'Gath alone is maybe not enough. So as long as they just see Cho'Gath on the sideline, they don't start the Baron. And as soon as they see a second person defending sideline, they will turn on the Baron. And then Next has a big problem.
Yes. I mean, it's very visible. It's Dynasty setting the pace right now. They have, he moves, he comes to the mid lane, the stun is going to connect against the enemy's foot. And the first one up next to fall is Chokers. However, they do get the backup kill against Hazagi. This is really good for Stofflis, who now decides to push back in onto Dark Q with a TP coming in from Ninja Tiger to execute him. And that's a second kill going to that Jinx, and they keep on pushing. Now Frankie is in a bit of a dangerous position as they keep on pushing Exodar right behind with Q. Flashes over the wall to get to safety. Now it's Next that goes for the Baron.
Okay. Just for all of you. I want to make a new wording in the second division, making the Pertinax. Because just bringing your split pusher to the team and lose a team fight because of that. It just happened again in this game. Just let him on the sideline. I mean, why? Why are we fighting? Anyway, Humulu tries to steal it, but now he gets turned on, and there comes the teleport.
Yeah, can't change the situation. No, he's just gonna kind of frighten them. 1v4 is a bit too dangerous. However, yeah, now with the rest of his team, they decide to go for the Baron. Dangerous. Next is still right around the corner. Like he decides to go in, get the jump on them, but with the massive CC, he's gonna die in a matter of a few seconds. Stofflis was pretty low from that, however, is able to get back. Saved the wombo combo of the two exploding rockets and bombs. There's a lot of damage, but now Dynasty is still able to push back as they can go in. They pick up the shutdown, but it goes to Kravelok. Now Frankie from the side is gonna be able to put some damage on them as Xdara goes in and picks up Dark Unique. Now Dynasty is forced to fall back, but so is Next. Wow.
Yeah. What a play there. And Hazagi, when he groups with this Hullbreaker, he's not tanky. He is just not tanky enough, so he just pops there. And in the end, those two long-range ultimates just clear the team fight, and they even get out of the situation. And Soul is spawning, and just look at the death timers. Hazagi has no teleport, so he is late to the party. Dark Unity Q has no teleport, so he is late to the party. And even Humulu needs to walk a long way home. There comes even the teleport. I mean, what is that teleport? Come on. But they try to deny the Soul, and yeah, okay, Vi is pretty alone there in the dark, and she's not really fast. So that could be a deciding one if they can secure it or not.
Exactly, coming from the side, Strokes is also there. Kravelot now in the pit. Can they find a window? Ulti is not quite up yet, though. Yeah, Hazagi is the one to find the purchase onto Stofflis, but he's in the middle of Next and he's gonna pop in a matter of seconds. However, the Ziggs ultimate, at least for Dynasty, is completely dodged. Now 5v4, it is a tough situation. Humulu tries to find some purchase. They have to keep their distance. One wrong move and everything is over. But with the damage of the Drake, Next is starting to get some damage in. Well, Dynasty can simply poke them.
Yeah, but they have 6. They have 6, they can poke on their own. So it's all about Jace versus 6 right now. And they start up the dragon again.
It's already done quite a lot of damage, so this is not too good. This is it's like starting to stretch long for Next. I mean, And even Hazaki, who was dead, is respawned almost. Although he has no TP, so he needs to walk. Drake is very low, and finally Next is able to finish it off.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. Those teams, and that's maybe a little bit too much criticism, but you have split pushing champions. And like Pertinax, after that, was it Once Upon a Team? I don't know. Or was Jungen Gang? I don't know. One of the other teams. And no Dynasty. All of them just don't use their split pusher as a split pusher. It's I don't know. It's really funny to see, because Jax comes to the team fight, Jax dies. Jax comes to the team fight, Jax dies. He was 2-1 and now he's 2-4 because he never sits on the sideline. And with Hullbreak, I mean, you can't be stopped in the 1v1 against Cho'Gath, but you can be stopped if you just jump into 5 people and you have no Hullbreaker buff. So it's so difficult for those teams to utilize their split pushing power, because they are forced, or they feel forced to bring him to the team, and sadly that's the wrong decision every single time.
Yes. But now he is finally on the sideline alone against Ninja Tag, and now we can see what he's able to do on this Jax. And he just does whatever he wants when he's alone. But yeah, the teamfight definitely not the good position for him to go on. And Next now is able to keep the dance going with that soul. As a team, the team fight is definitely in their favor. Dynasty has to find the right angle if they want to do something, preferably without Hazaki. But he is coming back to this team now.
Yeah, they just won a team fight. I mean, it's fine. He's a threat in the team fight, of course, but oh, the Wombo combo!
Oh, very nice exploding Kazas. Conrad is already very low. We have a TP coming in, but it's going to be a bit late. But we have Crablet, which is going to fall at the hands of Stoflis. And now Next has a situation turned around, as it's Dynasty, which spread around, trying to pick up the stragglers of Next and did not focus on one spot. Now, 5v2. Next is definitely leading here currently, and they pick up a free Baron.
Yeah, what a free Baron it is. And even, Frankie. Ah, it's so close.
I was gonna say, almost got a pick here. But no, Conrad is able to... he hit the bomb. This is the poking matchup once again, as both hit one of their skill shots. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, but now with Soul and with Baron, it's really a different story, right? And now they can even take on the second tier 2, the tier 2 on bot side, or
yes.
And she gets out with the exciting. So I think Next has this game almost in their backs, right? I mean, it's as long as they play it clean, at least they shouldn't lose it. And Dynasty, they need to do a lot of work to get back into this game.
Yeah, it's not 100% clear cut right now, but Next definitely in a very comfortable position. I mean, a 4k gold lead, and they have the Baron. If they utilize it well, it's definitely their pocket.
Yeah, you say it. Oh, 6 is a little bit far forward, but oh, there comes Hook.
Oh yeah, the Hook does find transition and the stun on Humidu. Oh my god, nice ultimates once again of Conrad and Stoflis, who are just synced perfectly, and now they pick up Dark UniQ if the season desist. Crablot tries to get away with the blast cone, is able to get more or less far away, but Exidara is just gonna keep on pushing him towards the base, while the rest of the team is gonna just push in that mid lane. And look how fast this turret is falling. The inhib as well, and with that they should even be able to keep on pushing, and I think they can finish. Might be tight.
Oh, should be enough time. Hazaki with the last effort.
Yeah, Hazaki goes in. With the CC is gonna take a lot of damage and falling really quick, and now it's Crablot's turn, and now Dynasty even has offset timers, so yeah, but it's not even gonna go as far, because Next is gonna pick up this win.
What a game by Next, and I thought that Next is maybe the team which Dynasty needs to get back to kind of a of the winning streak, but apparently Next is just better. and Dynasty falls to the bottom of our bracket, of our tournament, of our league. That's the name. Anyway, what an exciting draft by NXT, especially with this Jinx and Six, with the long range engage, with the Y, just worked out really well. It all started by getting this first Drake, where Six got 2 kills, and basically they snowballed out of there. And Dynasty maybe misplayed it with the split pusher. Asagi was not on the sideline, did not take inhibs, did not take the inhib turrets, and with that you can't really win if you just get your split pusher to the team, right?
Yeah, and I think this is great, especially once you have Hullbreaker. I mean, Hullbreaker is the kind of item, once you have it, you do not want to be in the team. It sucks for you. It's just an useless item when you have team fighting. So you'd expect him to try and force, but well, I made those decisions, and in the end, NXT was able to pick up the win here, standing 2-0 alongside Riftsloths and Aurora at the end of the second day. Maybe we can take a look at the standings very quickly before leaving you for tonight. And yeah, we can see the top of the ladder: Aurora, Riftsloths, and NXT each with 2 wins. Meanwhile, Full Clear Esports did lose tonight, falling down to the 4th spot, which they share alongside Pertinax. Were able to pick up a win tonight against Once Upon a Team, while the bottom of the ladder is filled with Dynasty, Germagang, and Once Upon a Team, who are yet to get a win. But it was only day 2. We still have a lot of days in front of us. But yeah, I guess that concludes this week.
Yeah, and I think the biggest surprise for me in this week was definitely how well a team like Aurora plays, or even Full Clear kind of surprised me in both of those games. And then, of course, like the downfall of Dynasty. I mean, it's just a 2-0 at the moment, but every big losing streak starts with a 2-0. So hopefully they can bounce back, and especially for the jungler, for Humulu, I wish him just best of luck that he gets back on the feet and gets back on the top, because Dynasty definitely was built to at least get some playoffs, maybe even to promote. So this squad with a 0-2 start definitely hurts to see.
Yes, absolutely. But what counts is that we have awesome games, and we did get quite a few awesome games tonight and on Wednesday as well. But I think for tonight, that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry though, because we will be back next week on Wednesday for the second week here for the ESLOL second division, ladies and gentlemen. So I wish you to have a nice weekend, to you as well, Fristana, of course, and I hope to see you all next Wednesday here on Rift Entertainment's channel.
Salut, ich bin der Daniel und das ist der Nani. Und mir weiß nicht, how wenn du Summoner Stand so laufen wird. Kommt mit.
Spiel Summoner Stands bei diesem League of Legends Turnier, Matt.
Oh nein, du hast mich gekillt. Guck, kein Bock mehr auf League. Ciao.
Beweis den Treffsicherheit bei diesem Bierpunkt-Turnier.
Oh, ich hab das so gewonnen. Das ist kein Spaß.
Oder genieße flotten Abend mit der Community.
Eine Straße, viele Bäume. Ja, das ist eine Allee.